The girl used a car window as a mirror to fix her dress, unaware a billionaire fell at first sight. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us go back to our main character. She pauses beside the parked car, as if the night itself has asked her to stop. The street is quieter than it should be for downtown. A few blocks away, traffic hums like a distant river. But here, under a row of dim streetlights, everything feels suspended. She exhales slowly, the kind of breath people take when they are about to step into a place where they are not sure they belong. She turns slightly and leans toward the car window. The glass is dark, but polished enough to reflect her face. Not perfectly, not kindly, but enough. She smooths the front of her dress with both hands. It is a simple dress, navy blue, the kind that tries to look elegant without asking too many questions. The hem has been let down once, then stitched back up again. The fabric pulls just a little at the waist. She tugs it down, then stills her hands, hoping no one noticed. She lifts her chin. Her reflection lifts its chin too. Okay, she whispers, barely audible. Just breathe. She reaches up and tucks a loose strand of hair behind her ear. The wind immediately frees it again. She sighs, this time with a faint smile, and tries once more. The glass shows her eyes, steady but uncertain, and for a moment she studies herself the way other people might. Not beautiful. Not invisible either, just trying. What she does not know is that someone else is looking at that same reflection from a different angle. Inside the car, the interior light is off. The engine has been quiet for a while. He is sitting in the driver's seat, one hand resting loosely on the steering wheel, the other holding a phone he forgot to look at. He had stopped here only because his driver had been delayed and he had asked to wait, wanting a moment of silence before the evening began. Then she stepped into view. At first, he noticed the movement. A figure crossing into the halo of the streetlight. Then the hesitation. The way she stopped, as if reconsidering everything that had brought her to this exact spot. When she leaned toward the window, her reflection caught his eye. Not because she was trying to be seen, because she clearly was not. There is something disarming about watching someone prepare when they think they are alone. No performance, no audience, just honesty in small gestures. The way she pressed her lips together. The way her shoulders rose and fell when she took that breath. He finds himself watching without meaning to. She tilts her head, checking the line of her neckline. She smooths the fabric again, slower this time, as if convincing herself that it is enough, that she is enough. And in that quiet second, something shifts. It is not dramatic. There is no thunder, no music, no grand realization. It is simply a feeling, sharp and unexpected, like a door opening in a room he did not know was locked. He feels it land in his chest and stay there. At first sight, he does not know her name. He does not know where she is going, or why she looks like she is bracing herself for impact. He does not know that she borrowed the dress from a friend who told her, laughing, that it would be fine. He does not know that she almost turned back twice on the walk here. All he knows is that he wants to know her. Outside, she straightens. She gives her reflection a final look, nods once, as if sealing a quiet agreement with herself, and steps back from the window. She never looks into the car. She adjusts the strap of her purse on her shoulder, squares her shoulders, and starts walking toward the building at the end of the block, where warm light spills through tall windows and the sound of voices drifts into the night. Behind the tinted glass, he watches her go. For a brief moment, he considers opening the door, calling out, saying something, anything, to stop her. But the moment passes, fragile as breath on cold glass. The car door stays closed. She disappears through the entrance, and he sits there, staring at the space she just left, aware of one undeniable truth. Whatever just happened, whatever that quiet moment by a car window stirred inside him, it is already too late to pretend it did not matter, because somewhere between the streetlight and the glass, a billionaire fell in love. And she has no idea. Lily steps through the glass doors and is immediately met by warmth, not just the heat from inside, but the sound, soft laughter. the low murmur of conversations layered over gentle music. It is the kind of place where people speak without rushing, where no one seems worried about the time. She slows her pace without meaning to. For a brief second, she considers turning around. The door is still close enough. She could pretend she forgot something. She could step back into the night, and no one here would ever know. But she does not. She tightens her grip on her purse and walks forward. The floor beneath her heels is polished stone, smooth and unforgiving. Each step sounds louder than she wants it to. She becomes aware of everything at once. The way her shoes are slightly worn at the edges. The way her dress feels just a little too thin for a place like this. The way everyone else seems so effortlessly at ease. Lily tells herself not to look around. She looks anyway. The room is beautiful in a quiet, expensive way. Nothing flashy, no gold chandeliers or dramatic displays, just clean lines, warm lighting, and tables set with confidence. This is not a place that tries to impress. It already knows it does. She swallows. This is not where she usually spends her evenings. An hour earlier, she had been standing in her small apartment, staring at the same dress hanging from the closet door. She had held it up, turned it side to side, and asked herself the same question 3 times. Is this enough? She had chosen it anyway, because it was the best option she had. Because it fit. Because it was clean. Because she could not afford to think about anything better. Now, surrounded by people who look like they belong here, the doubt returns. She tells herself she is here for a reason. This invitation matters. It is not glamorous, but it is important. A networking dinner. A chance meeting. Something her coworker insisted she attend, saying it could lead to opportunities. Real ones. The kind that do not come often. Especially not to someone like her. Lily has learned to recognize moments like this. Moments that feel fragile. Moments that could tip her life in one direction or another, depending on how carefully she steps. She does not have a safety net. Every decision counts. She works hard. She always has. Long hours, little recognition, just enough money to keep going. Rent paid late but paid. Groceries planned down to the dollar. No room for mistakes. No cushion for bad luck. People like to say things will work out. Lily knows better. Things work out only if you make them. She stops near the edge of the room, unsure where to go next. Her name is not being called. No one is looking for her. She is early, which she prefers. Being early feels safer than being late. She smooths her dress again, a habit she does not realize she has, and scans the space for a familiar face. Nothing. For a moment, the weight of it presses down on her. The feeling of being small in a big room, the quiet fear of being seen and judged before she has even spoken. She reminds herself why she came. Not for approval, for possibility. Lily straightens her shoulders. She does not know it yet. But this determination, this refusal to shrink, even when she feels out of place, is exactly what had caught Alexander's attention outside. Not just her reflection in the glass, but the resolve beneath it. Out on the street, Alexander is no longer sitting still. He has left the car. He stands near the entrance now, blending in easily, his presence calm and unassuming. No one looks twice at him. They rarely do, not until they know who he is. He watches Lily through the glass as she steps farther into the room. He notices how she pauses, how she gathers herself before moving forward again. He recognizes that look. He has seen it before, on people standing at the edge of something new, something risky, people who do not take moments like this lightly. It surprises him how much that matters. He does not approach her. Not yet. He tells himself there is no rush. That whatever just stirred inside him outside was nothing more than curiosity, a passing reaction, something that will fade as quickly as it appeared. But he stays. Inside, Lily finally spots her coworker across the room and exhales in relief. She makes her way over, her steps more confident now that she has a destination. As she walks, she has the strangest sensation, as if she is being watched. She resists the urge to turn around. She tells herself it is just nerves. She has no idea that the man who noticed her through a car window is still nearby, that his eyes follow her not with entitlement or expectation, but with quiet interest. 2 lives, moving in parallel. One trying to survive, one used to control. Neither of them aware that the space between them is already closing. Lily reaches her coworker just as the music shifts to something softer. You made it, her coworker says with a relieved smile. I was worried you would change your mind. Lily lets out a quiet laugh. I almost did. They exchange a few polite words, the kind people use when they are both slightly nervous and pretending not to be. Lily listens, nodding, but her attention drifts. Her senses are still adjusting to the room, to the way conversations overlap, to the subtle confidence in the air. She feels steadier now, grounded. Then it happens. As she steps back to give a passing server room, her purse strap slips from her shoulder. It happens quickly. The strap slides, the weight shifts, and the purse drops toward the floor. Before it hits the ground, a hand catches it. Sorry, a man's voice says, calm and warm. I think you almost lost this. Lily turns. He is standing closer than she expected. Close enough that she can see the faint crease at the corner of his eyes, the kind that comes from smiling more than from stress. He is tall, but not imposing, well-dressed, but not flashy. There is nothing about him that announces importance, just ease. Oh, she says, surprised. Thank you. I did not even notice. She takes the purse from him, their fingers brushing for half a second longer than necessary. The contact is brief, but it sends a strange awareness through her, like she has just stepped into warmer light. No problem, he says. It looked like it was trying to escape. That earns a small smile from her, an unguarded one. Apparently, she replies. It has terrible timing. He chuckles softly, and the sound is genuine. Not practiced. Not polite. I am Alexander, he says, offering his hand. Lily, she answers, shaking it. The handshake is firm but relaxed. No pressure, no test. They stand there for a moment, neither of them rushing to fill the silence. It feels natural, which surprises her. Conversations usually take effort at events like this. Small talk, careful words, measured responses. This does not. So, Alexander says, glancing around, is this your first time here or are you a regular? Lily hesitates, then decides honesty costs nothing. First time, and I am still trying to figure out where I am supposed to stand. He nods, as if that makes perfect sense. That is usually the hardest part. She laughs again, this time more comfortably. You seem like you know your way around. Oh, not as much as people think, he replies. It is not a lie, just incomplete. They move a few steps away from the main flow of the room, finding a quieter corner near a tall window. Lily notices the city lights outside, blurred and distant, and feels a strange echo of the moment she had earlier by the car. She does not connect the two. Alexander asks her what brought her tonight. She tells him, in simple terms. Work, opportunity, a reason that matters more than appearances. She expects the usual response, polite interest, followed by a subtle shift away. Instead, he listens. Not the way people listen while waiting for their turn to speak, but the way they listen when they actually want to understand. He asks questions, not probing ones, thoughtful ones. What do you enjoy most about it? What made you start? What would you do if you had more room to choose? No one has asked her those questions in a long time. She answers carefully at first, then more freely. She talks about responsibility, about wanting stability, about not having the luxury to chase dreams without thinking through the cost. She does not realize how much she is revealing until she pauses and catches herself. I am sorry, she says quickly. I did not mean to turn this into something so serious. He shakes his head. You did not. You just spoke honestly. That simple statement lands harder than she expects. Across the room, laughter rises and falls. Glasses clink. Someone calls out a name. The event continues around them, but Lily feels slightly removed from it now, like she has stepped into a quieter current. Alexander keeps his posture open, his tone steady. He does not steer the conversation toward himself. When she asks what he does, he answers plainly. I work in business, he says. Mostly management. She nods. That sounds broad. It is, he admits with a faint smile. There is something about the way he says it that makes her curious, but she does not press. She has learned that people reveal what they want when they are ready. She likes that he does not oversell himself. Minutes pass. Then more. Neither of them notices the time until Lily's coworker catches her eye from across the room and raises an eyebrow, smiling knowingly. Lily feels a flush of heat rise to her cheeks. She realizes something then, quietly, without drama. She feels seen, not evaluated, not measured, just noticed. And she has no idea that the man standing in front of her noticed her long before she ever noticed him. The conversation slows, settling into something quieter and more intentional. Lily does not notice the shift at first. She only realizes it when she stops checking the room, stops thinking about where she should be standing or who might be watching. The noise fades into the background, replaced by the steady rhythm of Alexander's voice and the calm space between his words. They drift farther from the crowd, ending up near the tall window at the side of the room. Outside, the city stretches out in soft lights and dark lines, distant and indifferent. Inside, everything feels contained, almost private. Alexander gestures toward the view. It always looks calmer from up here, he says, like the city is holding its breath. Ruperity. Lily follows his gaze. I never see it like this, she admits. Usually I am just trying to get from one place to another. Tonight feels different, he says. She nods, surprised by how true that feels. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The silence is not awkward. It is thoughtful. Lily becomes aware of her own breathing again, slow and even now, not rushed. She reaches into her purse without thinking and pulls out a small folded card. The edges are worn, the corners softened from being handled too often. She smooths it with her thumb, a nervous habit she has had for years. Alexander notices the motion. What is that? He asks gently, not prying. Lily hesitates. This is not something she usually shares. Not here. Not with someone she just met. But something about the way he asked makes it feel safe. It is nothing important. She starts, then stops herself. She exhales and corrects it. That is not true. It is important, just not to anyone else. She unfolds the card slightly, enough for him to see the simple sketch inside. It is small and imperfect, drawn in pencil, a quiet moment captured on paper. I like to draw, she says, her voice lower now. I do not talk about it much. Alexander leans in just enough to look, careful not to invade her space. His expression changes, subtle but unmistakable. You are good, he says. Lily shakes her head quickly. I am not professional. It is just something I do. When I need to remember who I am. The words surprise her as soon as they leave her mouth. She had not planned to say that. She waits for the polite dismissal, the kind smile people give when they do not really understand. It does not come. Instead, Alexander says, that sounds like the most important reason there is. She looks at him then, really looks at him, and something in her chest tightens. I stopped for a long time, she continues, almost to herself. Life gets busy. Practical. There are bills, responsibilities. You tell yourself you will come back to it later. But later keeps moving. He nods slowly. And the card? She folds it carefully and slips it back into her purse. I keep it with me so I do not forget. Even on nights like this, when I feel out of place. You do not seem out of place, he says. She lets out a quiet laugh. That is kind of you to say. I am not being kind, he replies. I am being honest. Mine. The simplicity of the statement disarms her more than any compliment could. She does not know how to respond, so she does not try. She simply lets it sit between them. Across the room, someone taps a glass, calling for attention. An announcement begins. Lily barely hears it. Alexander straightens slightly, as if reminding himself of something. May I ask you a question? He says. Of course. What made you stop outside earlier, he asks, before you came in? Her heart skips, just once. She does not know how he knows. Then she remembers the window, the reflection, the feeling of being seen even when she thought she was alone. She considers denying it. Instead, she answers truthfully. I was making sure I looked presentable enough, she says. I did not want to walk in feeling like everyone could see my doubts. And now? He asks. She thinks about it. About the way the room feels smaller now. About the steady calm in her chest. Now, she says slowly, I think I would have come in, even if I did not feel ready. Alexander smiles at that. Not a wide smile. A quiet one. The kind that means something has landed exactly where it was meant to. Neither of them notices that the announcement has ended. Neither of them notices the glances from across the room. What they do notice is the ease, the unspoken understanding, and the small, fragile truth planted between them, waiting for a moment far in the future when it will matter more than either of them can imagine right now. The evening does not end all at once. It softens. The announcement gives way to movement again. People begin to circulate. Glasses are refilled. Conversations resume in low, overlapping waves. Lily and Alexander drift back into the flow without losing the quiet thread between them. They do not stay glued to each other, but they do not separate either. They walk slowly along the edge of the room, stopping near a table where a few guests are discussing work. Lily listens more than she speaks, but when she does, Alexander notices how carefully she chooses her words. She does not try to impress. She tries to be accurate. That, somehow, is more impressive. When someone asks Alexander what he does, he answers simply again, business, management, nothing more, no titles, no scale. Lily does not question it. She accepts the answer the way she accepts most things, without digging for what is not offered. Later, they find themselves near the refreshment table. Lily reaches for a glass of water instead of wine. Alexander notices. Long day? He asks. Long few years, she replies, then smiles to soften it. Water keeps me steady. He nods, understanding without asking her to explain. They talk about small things after that. Ordinary things. The neighborhoods they like to walk through. The comfort of routines. The strange peace of late grocery store runs when the aisles are quiet and no one is watching. Lily surprises herself by how much she shares. She tells him about her mornings, about how she wakes up early even when she does not have to, just because it feels safer. She tells him about budgeting lists taped to her refrigerator and the satisfaction of crossing things off one by one. Alexander listens, not with sympathy, with respect. He tells her little pieces of himself in return. About travel that stopped feeling exciting a long time ago. About rooms that all start to look the same when you spend too much time in them. About the relief of moments that ask nothing from him. They do not compare lives. They simply lay them side by side and notice where they touch. At some point, Lily realizes she has forgotten to be nervous. The tightness she carried into the building has loosened without her permission. She catches herself laughing freely at something Alexander says and pauses, surprised by the sound of it. It feels strange, she admits quietly, once the laughter fades. What does? He asks. This, she says, gesturing vaguely between them. How easy it is. He considers that. Easy does not mean meaningless. No, she agrees. But it feels rare. They stand there for a moment, the space between them comfortable and unclaimed. Lily becomes aware of the time again, the way the evening has shifted. The event is winding down. People are checking their phones, saying their goodbyes. She knows she should go soon. She does not want to. I should head out, she says eventually, her voice reluctant but practical. Tomorrow comes early. Alexander nods. Of course. They walk toward the entrance together. Lily's co-worker waves from across the room, smiling, clearly curious. Lily pretends not to notice. At the door, they stop. The city air slips in as someone else leaves, cool against Lily's skin. She hesitates, then turns to face him. I am glad I met you tonight, she says. So am I, he answers. There is no hesitation in his voice. They stand there, the moment stretching just enough to feel significant. Not heavy, just real. Alexander reaches into his pocket, then stops himself. He does not pull out a phone. He does not rush. May I see you again? He asks instead. Simple, direct. Lily looks at him, searching his face for something she cannot quite name. She finds only sincerity. I would like that, she says. They exchange numbers. No ceremony. No promise beyond the quiet intention in the act itself. As Lily steps back onto the sidewalk, she feels lighter than she did hours ago. She does not look back at the car window this time. She does not check her reflection. She walks away with a small smile she does not try to hide. Behind her, Alexander watches until she disappears into the night. He tells himself again that this is nothing extraordinary, but he does not believe it, because something real has begun, built not on power or privilege, but on conversation, respect, and the simple decision to see another person clearly. And neither of them knows how fragile that simplicity will be once the truth enters the room. The invitation arrives 3 days later. Lily reads it twice, then a third time, standing in her kitchen with her phone in her hand and the hum of the refrigerator filling the silence. It is a follow-up event, connected to the dinner she attended. A larger gathering this time. A charity gala hosted downtown. Formal attire required. She hesitates. This is not her world. The first evening already felt like stepping across an invisible line. This feels like stepping much farther. But Alexander will be there. He had mentioned it casually during one of their phone calls, his tone light, as if it were nothing more than another evening out. He did not make it sound important. He never does. So Lily says yes. The night of the gala, the city looks different. Streets are blocked off. Valet lines stretch along the curb. Light spills from the entrance of the venue, bright and confident. Lily stands at the edge of the sidewalk for a moment, taking it all in. Her dress is simple again, chosen carefully, pressed twice. She breathes in, then out, and walks forward. Inside, the space is larger than she expected. The ceiling rises high above her, chandeliers casting warm light over polished floors. People move with ease, dressed in dark suits and elegant gowns. Voices echo softly, controlled and assured. She feels that familiar flicker of doubt. Then she sees Alexander. He is standing near the center of the room, speaking with a small group of people. He looks the same, calm, grounded, approachable. But something about the way others angle toward him feels different. Respectful, attentive. Lily steps closer. Just as a hush begins to ripple through the room, a woman steps up to the podium. She smiles, taps the microphone gently, and begins to speak. Her voice carries easily, practiced and confident. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she says. "Your presence means more than you know." Lily listens, only half focused, until she hears his name. "Please join me in welcoming the guest of honor this evening," the woman continues, pausing for effect. "Alexander Whitmore." The room responds immediately. Applause swells, strong and unanimous. Lily freezes. The name lands heavily, like a misplaced step on solid ground. Alexander Whitmore. She has seen it before. Headlines, articles shared online. A man whose decisions shape industries, whose wealth funds foundations, whose name opens doors she has never even touched. Her eyes snap back to him. He is no longer just a man standing in a room. He is the man everyone has been waiting for. Alexander steps forward, accepting the applause with practiced ease. He smiles, nods, thanks the host. His posture changes, subtle but unmistakable. Not arrogance, authority. Lily's chest tightens. Moments replay in her mind in quick succession. The car window. The quiet conversation. His simple answers. Business. Management. Not lies. But not the truth. She feels suddenly exposed, like she has walked into a room without realizing the rules had changed. Alexander begins to speak, his voice steady and composed. He talks about impact, about responsibility, about using resources to create meaningful change. The room listens. Lily barely hears the words. Her heart is pounding too loudly. When the applause rises again, she steps back, instinctively creating distance. Her hands curl at her sides, grounding herself. Alexander's eyes scan the room as he steps down from the stage. They find hers. For a fraction of a second, something crosses his face. Recognition. Understanding. Regret. He starts toward her, but Lily turns. She moves through the crowd with purpose. Not running, but not stopping either. She needs air. Space. A moment to breathe without feeling small. She reaches the edge of the room just as the doors open to the terrace. Behind her, Alexander calls her name. Lily. She stops. But she does not turn around yet. The truth has finally entered the room, and nothing feels simple anymore. The night air on the terrace is cool and sharp, cutting through the warmth Lily left behind. She steps forward until the stone railing presses lightly against her hands. Below, the city stretches out, distant and indifferent, just as it had from the window earlier that evening. Only now, the view does not calm her. Her thoughts are too loud. Behind her, the doors open again. "Lily," Alexander says, closer now, not loud, careful. Please. She closes her eyes for a brief second before turning around. Up close, she can see it on his face. The tension held just beneath control. The awareness that something has broken, even if it has not shattered yet. You should not have followed me, she says. I know, he replies. But I could not let you leave like that. She lets out a short, humorless laugh. Like what? Like someone who finally realized she was the only one in the room who did not know the truth. That is not fair, he says gently. Her gaze sharpens. No. What is not fair is sitting across from someone, telling them your fears, your limits, your life, while they decide how much of themselves you deserve to see. End quote. He takes a step closer, then stops, respecting the invisible line between them. I never decided that, he says. I did not hide who I am to manipulate you. But you hid it, she says, her voice steady but tight. You let me believe you were just another man. Someone safe. Someone I could meet without feeling small. I wanted you to see me before the name, he answers. Before the assumptions. And I wanted the truth, she says. Those two things are not the same. End quote. Silence settles between them, heavy and unavoidable. Alexander exhales slowly. You are right. I should have told you sooner. Lily looks at him, really looks at him, and feels the weight of everything she had admired begin to shift. The ease, the simplicity, the trust. Do you know what hurts the most? She asks quietly. It is not that you are a billionaire. It is that you watched me walk into rooms like this, unsure of myself, and you said nothing. He winces. I never thought less of you. I know, she says. That almost makes it worse. She turns back to the railing, gripping it now, grounding herself. You see, I have spent my whole life learning how to stand on my own without borrowing power from anyone else. I cannot be someone's lesson, or someone's experiment. I never tested you, he says firmly. This was not a game. Then why does it feel like one? She asks. Why does it feel like you always knew where the floor was? And I did not. Alexander does not answer right away. When he does, his voice is quieter. Because I underestimated how much the truth mattered, he says. And I am sorry. The apology hangs there. Sincere. Insufficient. Lily nods once, accepting it without embracing it. I believe you care, she says. But care does not erase the imbalance. Not tonight. Not like this. Well, she turns to face him again, her expression composed now, resolved. I need space, she continues. I need to know that if I choose someone, it is because I am standing on equal ground, not because I was invited into a world I never asked for. Alexander meets her gaze. He does not argue. He does not reach for her. I understand, he says. She steps back toward the doors, then pauses. Please do not follow me again. I will not, he promises. Lily walks inside, through the lights and the music, and out into the night beyond the gala. Each step away feels heavy, but necessary. On the terrace, Alexander remains where he is, watching the door long after it closes. For the first time in a very long time, his wealth, his influence, his power offer him nothing at all. And he knows this is the moment that will decide whether he deserves another chance to be seen. The message does not come right away. For 2 days, Lily hears nothing. No apology, no explanation, no attempt to soften what already feels raw. She tells herself this is for the best. Space was what she asked for, and space is what she gets. She throws herself back into routine, work, commutes. Evenings spent at her small kitchen table, sketching without pressure, letting the pencil move where it wants. It is the only place that still feels honest. On the third afternoon, an email arrives. The subject line is simple. Tonight. If you are willing. There is no name attached, only an address she recognizes. A small public gallery near the river, the kind people walk past without noticing, unless they are looking for something quiet. She hesitates. Curiosity battles caution. In the end, Lily goes. Not because she expects anything, but because she refuses to let fear make decisions for her. The gallery is nearly empty when she arrives. The lights are low. The space smells faintly of paper and paint. Soft music plays somewhere unseen. For a moment, She wonders if she has the wrong place. Then she sees the walls. Her breath catches. Sketches line the room. Simple, familiar lines. Scenes she knows by heart. A bus stop at dawn. A woman standing by a car window, adjusting her dress. A folded card, drawn again and again in different variations. Her work. Not copied. Not recreated. Recognized. She steps closer, her hand hovering just inches from the frame. Each piece is labeled, not with prices or titles, but with short handwritten notes, observations. Respectful, careful. At the center of the room, Alexander stands waiting. He does not approach her immediately. He lets her see everything first. When she finally turns, her eyes are bright but steady. "You should not have done this," she says quietly. "I did not do it for forgiveness," he replies. "I did it because you deserve to be seen on your own terms." She studies his face, searching for performance. She finds none. "I never wanted to change your world," he continues. "I wanted to meet you in it. I failed the first time. This is me trying again." Without hiding, Lily looks around once more. Then back at him. "You did not buy this," she says. "It is a statement, not a question." "No," he answers. "I protected the space. The rest was already yours." Silence stretches between them, different from before. Not heavy, open. Finally, she nods once. "This does not erase what happened," she says. "I know," he replies. "But it shows me who you choose to be now," she continues. "That is enough for tonight. Not a promise, but a door left open." The gallery closes quietly that night. No announcements, no applause, just the soft click of lights dimming and the low sound of the door locking behind them as they step back out into the city. They walk side by side toward the river, not touching, not rushing. The air is cool, carrying the faint smell of water and concrete. Lily feels grounded, in a way she has not for a long time. Alexander breaks the silence first. "I do not expect anything from you," he says. "Not trust, not forgiveness, not tomorrow." She looks at him, really looks at him, and notices how different this feels from the night of the gala. There is no audience now, no imbalance, just two people standing where they are. "That is the first thing you have said that makes me feel equal," she replies. He smiles softly, accepting the truth of it. They stop near the railing overlooking the river. The water moves steadily below, indifferent to their timing, their choices. Lily rests her hands on the cool metal and watches the reflections ripple and break. "I spent a long time thinking love was something that happened to other people," she says. "People with room for risk, with safety built in." "What?" Alexander listens, as he always does. "I learned how to survive," she continues. "How to stand on my own. I am proud of that. I cannot lose it for anyone." "You will not," he says without hesitation. "I would not want you to." She turns toward him then, the city lights catching in her eyes. "If this continues," she says carefully, "it will be because we choose it honestly. No hiding, no power games, no assumptions." He meets her gaze. "I promise you transparency and patience, even if it costs me." Lily considers that. Then she nods. "That is all I can offer too," she says. They stand there for a moment longer, letting the decision settle. When Lily finally steps back, it is with intention, not retreat. "I should go," she says, "but not because I am running." "I know," Alexander replies. As she turns to leave, she pauses. "You know," she adds, a faint smile touching her lips, "the first time you really saw me, I was standing by a car window, trying to fix a dress that did not quite fit my life." He smiles in return. "And you looked like someone brave enough to walk in anyway." She laughs softly, then steps away, disappearing down the path with an ease she did not have before. Alexander watches her go, but this time, he does not feel the need to follow. Some things are stronger when allowed to move freely. The story does not end with a proposal or a promise carved in stone. It ends with something quieter. Two people choosing truth over illusion, respect over status, and a love that begins not with a reveal, but with a decision to stand on equal ground and walk forward together.